Morning, everyone. It's Tuesday at 8:55. It's the 15th, and we had a bunch of numbers, so let me get right to those. Before I do that, I want to tell you that before the numbers came out, the Dow futures were up $2, NASDAQ up $22, and the S&P was up $3.60, and the 10-year was trading at 1.487. The Empire Manufacturing was a big miss, 17.4, down from an expectation of 22, which was in fact down from last month's 24.3. So 17.4 from 24.3 month over month. Retail sales were down 1.3% versus an expectation of down 0.6%. So retail sales twice as weak as expected. X autos down 0.7, so that's a little bit better. And X food and gas, for those of us who neither eat nor drive, down 0.8%. So retail sales pretty much across the board worse than expected. PPI, and I'm only going to give you two numbers here. PPI for the month over month was up 0.8 versus an expectation of up 0.5. And the year-over-year number was up 5.3 versus 4.8 for X autos and gas. So basically what we had was crappy manufacturing, declining retail sales, and increasing inflation. After these numbers, the Dow, which was up 2, is down $2.75, so not much there. NASDAQ, which was up 22, is up about 4. The S&P is still up about 260. Actually now up about $1.25. And the 10-year, which, as I mentioned, was 1.487, is 1.499. So a little over a 1% gain in rates. Corporate news, Morgan Stanley's Gorman says people will be back in their offices in September, or he'll know why. So a little bit threatening there. Amazon has a fresh market opening. It's a great service. I use it all the time, that and the Whole Foods. But they have a fresh market service opening on Thursday in Washington State with their just walkout technology. So fill up your basket and walk it out to your car. AstraZeneca said that their new vaccine failed to prevent COVID. And the EU is discussing today we'll be discussing the aircraft subsidies. As you know, they have heavily supported Airbus, the French especially. And, Boeing thinks that that's a big disadvantage to them, and probably it is, but there'll be discussions about that. DraftKings is down about $3.50, which is about 6% on some reports, I believe from Hindenburg, who actually has a pretty good record to date on exposing deals with problems. And they're saying that there's a lot of organized crime and money laundering going through DraftKings. So we'll see how that plays out. Asia is mixed. Europe is up. Australia, and remember, Australia is a commodity-based economy, is up 1%. Okay, so now the Nasdaq is down 2, the S&P is down $1, and it's up $1, and the Dow is dead flat. Okay, chart on the screen. Oil rallied up yesterday, came back down, closed down on the day and on the low of the day. This morning, higher low and another new recovery high, 71.95. Yesterday's was 71.78, and we just keep melting up. I hate to use that term too much, but it looks like that's what we're doing. The gold, which was down 30 yesterday in the morning and finished down about 1370, is a little bit higher, but with those kind of inflation numbers, we really should have seen a little bit more there. Kyle Bass was on this morning talking about inflation, and he says that the inflation numbers are built to look low, and one of the things that he cited were automobile prices, and he made a very interesting comment. You really can't compare apples to apples, for example, with cars on the basis of things that are now included, that you may or may not want, but you're paying for. His example was, nobody really wants to use roll-up windows as opposed to electric windows. There is a price to be paid for that, but you don't have the option. The option to not have it does not exist. So, things that may be improvements are maybe things that you could live without, but you don't have that option. This is the same thing from my perspective as my example about food inflation with the rotisserie chickens from the grocery store. They were $4.99, and there was they were kind of a loss leader, and they became very popular. As soon as they became popular, they became $5.99, which was okay. Then they became $6.99. And then what they did was they gave you a slightly larger chicken. So you, instead of getting, for example, a pound and a quarter chicken, you got a pound and three-quarter chicken. And they raised the price to $7.99. They raised the price the last $1.50 or $2 based on an increase of, 40 cents worth of chicken. But you don't have the option to get the smaller one. You only have the option to get what they're giving you. And the price of that has gone from $4.99 to $7.99. And frankly, if that's not inflation, I really don't know what is. All right, everyone, going to be an interesting day. Remember, we also have the two-day Fed meeting, which got underway this morning. Probably not much going to come out of it in terms of actual action, but you never can tell what they're going to say in the comments and what comes out at the press conference. All right, one last look. Dow futures up $9.50. NASDAQ futures down about 12, and the S&P about unchanged. Have a good morning and be careful out there.